It's kind of like following the sun, chasing the sun west. For us, the whole concept was one part film, one part album, chasing songs and waves around the planet. And it's kind of a excuse for us to surf a lot of our favorite surf spots and call it work.
That's a good question. We wanted the movie and the record to kind of feel like brother and sister. I'm not sure what the sex was on either of them, but they're definitely related. And so the movie kind of followed us as we were looking for inspiration for the songs, and the songs are used in the movie. I definitely feel like they kind of possess the same journey.
Oh yeah. We were traveling through South Africa, and this music store had this local artist, manufacturer who makes guitars out of gas cans, and it was basically a gas can about this big that they used to, just buy gas in, and that was their method of getting it to remote places. And then a lot of guys would take them because they resonate pretty well, and they would make a neck for it, and then put some pickups in it, and just so I saw that. I think it says castor oil on the front, and still kind of smells like gas, but it's mostly not that way. But it's really unique, and it really sounds cool. And it's kind of shorter, and it just you've heard of a cigar box guitar, and you see these kind of sort of just like novelty kind of guitars made, and this was one of those novelty guitars that people know about. It's like, oh yeah, you should check out those gas can guitars.
I can only think of mainly advantages coming from San Diego. I love my hometown, and we love where we're from. It's an incredible music scene. Everyone's very supportive, and I think that it's a scene that embraces everyone for what they are, rather than trying to coerce all these different people to try and make one sound. And that was something that we grew up in, kind of feeling like we could be anything, and I don't know that we could have happened up here in LA. I feel like LA is very, there's some amazing musicians that live up here, but a lot of times, rather than doing it just because music is an enjoyable pastime, you're close to ways that you can actually make money out of music. And so there's a limited amount of possibilities for people that can actually make money with music. So instead of being more supportive, you tend to be a little bit more cutthroat up here, where you're fighting over the same gig. Whereas in San Diego, there's no money anyways.
There's no gig.
There's no gig. You're
no
just
gig.
kind of playing in backyards.
So you make up a gig and you print money.
Yeah, thank you. I'm always honored when somebody wants to affiliate me with Christ. But I think that Christian can mean different things to different people. Does it mean that you eat red meat and vote for George Bush? Does it mean, what does it mean? And for me, I think that I'd rather talk about my faith outside of some way of selling albums, and I'd love to have a deeper conversation than just putting a CD in one section or another. I have no idea why. I'm always kind of blown away and thankful that we're still making music, My thing is, I know we'd be making music whether people would want it or not, that the songs are there, and I think as long as you're honest, that's what you have to show for it. That whether people are coming up in thousands or one at a time and connecting with you, that's what I'm in it for.
We have all kinds of fans, real diverse, but of course, I tend to think of them as thoughtful, and fans that are really listening, internalizing lyrics and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
I think that's where you realize the music that you write for yourself at 3 a.m, in your hotel room, that it has a life of its own, and you're a part of a bigger story when you realize that has an impact on somebody around the world. And they say, I think the biggest impact music can have, we all go through rough times, but when a song can kind of open your eyes to see something beyond the tough times, when somebody tells you about those kind of stories, that's really meaningful. That was nuts.
That was crazy.
It was actually huge.
You know, you see it on the calendar, like Boy Scouts Jamboree. Okay, cool. You
Kinda
know,
like
that
scratch your head. What's that like?
sure.
I mean, picture playing in front of, one of the biggest crowds you've seen, only they're all dressed exactly alike.
in like rows and
sections.
columns, and yeah, it was very.
Like, you know,
A lot of
really-
well-tied
a
knots.
lot of well-tied knots, man.
The best fireworks I've ever
Just-
seen.
yeah.
Hands down.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the fireworks were insane. Nerd alert.
No, I love reading. I've always loved the idea that other humans have thought of these questions that I've thought of, and probably they're way smarter than I am, and I've got a lot to learn. And so when it comes to songs, usually for me, I'm just writing about what's on the top of my head, and sometimes somebody else has said it in a way that feels like it opens up a new way to say it in a song, So whether it's Soren Kierkegaard or Pascal or whoever, I mean, these guys are much smarter than me, and if I could write a song that kind of taps into their line of thinking, that feels like a good thing.
I think part of it is that you don't know what's going to happen. Every night is completely different. I think that used to kind of freak us out a little bit as a young band. You want your guitars to be in tune, and we just played in a snowstorm 3 days ago.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And the roof literally collapsed snow onto it just covered me, like completely iglooed me the moment we started playing.
Iglooed.
And I just made up a new
Yeah,
word,
it's a term
iglooed.
now.
It's a verb.
We use it now. We got iglooed.
And I think that's what we love about live music. Maybe not getting covered in snow, but the idea that, what happens when your guitar breaks? Throw it down and jump in the crowd, and that becomes part of the evening. And I think John in particular, he changes the set list on us every night. We'll spend an hour making a set list, and then we'll get on stage and literally scrap it. And I love that the audience can become that sixth member where really they lead us, where they want to go, and we just jump in. 9
albums, you got to think like that's 90 plus songs. I think that's more than 100. So you're definitely scraping. You don't know what key it is. You don't even know the words. Yeah.
And it's funny to fans always because they're like, "What? You don't know your own song?" Yeah. But I mean, come on. You just said it, like, what, 90 songs?
Yeah, when we're on tour, we're always changing up the set list. And a lot of times we'll decide to play a song right before we go on stage that we haven't played in, 5 or 6 years. And we'll all be, like, listening to our iPhones, trying to remember how it goes. And John will be looking up the words.
Oh, yeah. I Googled my lyrics all the time.